Is this the year Lando Norris shocks the world and becomes Formula One champion? His stunning victory at the 2025 Australian Grand Prix wasn't just a win, it was a statement. In a dramatic, rain-soaked showdown, Norris outdueled Max Verstappen, proving he has the skill, strategy, and nerves of steel to fight for the title. But can he keep up the fight all season? Or was this just a one-off upset? Stay with us as we break down the key factors that could make or break his championship dream. And if you love F1, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because this season is about to get wild. Let's dive right into the spotlights from the Australian Grand Prix 2025. The victory of Lando Norris at the 2025 Australian Grand Prix sent shockwaves through the F1 world. Not only did he secure his first win of the season, but he also outclassed Max Verstappen in a tense and unpredictable race. From the moment the lights went out at Albert Park, Norris looked composed. He defended his pole position with precision, navigating the wet and treacherous conditions like a seasoned champion. On the other hand, the race looked a bit chaotic for some players. Rookie Isaac Hadjar's crash before the start set the tone for what was to come. Multiple safety cars, high-profile retirements, and sudden downpours turned the Grand Prix into a strategic chess match. While others faltered, Norris thrived. His decision to pit early for intermediate tires on lap 44 proved crucial, allowing him to snatch back the lead from Verstappen, who gambled on staying out. Despite Verstappen's relentless pressure in the final laps, Norris held firm, crossing the finish line just 0.8 seconds ahead of the reigning champion. With Oscar Piastri initially running in second before a costly mistake, McLaren could have walked away with a 1-2 finish. Still, Norris's win made a statement. McLaren wasn't here to play second fiddle. George Russell's podium finish for Mercedes and a surprise fourth-place result for Alex Albon reinforced just how unpredictable the season could be. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari debut was marked by poor strategy, leaving many to question whether Ferrari was already struggling to keep up with the competition. McLaren isn't just competing, they're innovating with their MCL39. With nearly every fundamental component revamped, from the suspension to the aerodynamics, McLaren is pushing boundaries in a bid to topple Red Bull's dominance. Lando Norris had the privilege of testing the MCL39 first at Silverstone, where he showed confidence in his new car. Despite near-freezing temperatures and demo tires limiting the car's potential, Norris was pleased with how the car responded. "Everything felt normal," he remarked, a promising sign given how radical the design changes were. McLaren isn't taking half measures. This car is a product of aggressive development aimed at maximizing aerodynamic efficiency. The team's biggest focus was on reducing drag while improving mechanical grip, a balance that could give them a crucial edge over their rivals. The redesigned front and rear suspension aren't just for handling improvements. They serve aerodynamic purposes, a key factor in their first win. Team principal Stella had emphasized that while many teams were shifting focus to the 2026 regulations, McLaren was maintaining full throttle on their 2025 developments. The early win in Australia suggests McLaren's approach is working, but can they sustain it across an entire season? With updates planned throughout the early races, their ability to outdevelop Red Bull and Ferrari will be crucial in determining whether Norris remains a title contender or fades into the midfield. Beating Max Verstappen in a straight fight is no easy feat, but that's exactly what Lando Norris did in Melbourne, handing Red Bull a rare defeat. Verstappen, the four-time reigning champion, acknowledged Norris's strong race, but hinted that Red Bull still had more to show. Verstappen's strategy was clear: play the long game. When the rain hit, he initially stayed out on slicks while others pitted for intermediates. For a moment, it seemed like a masterstroke, until the downpour intensified. By the time Verstappen made his stop, Norris had already retaken the lead. Despite closing in on the McLaren in the final laps, he couldn't find a way past. For Red Bull, this loss isn't catastrophic, but it does highlight a vulnerability. The RB21 wasn't the fastest car on track, especially in changing conditions. Verstappen admitted as much, saying, "We lacked pace in the first stint, but still scored good points. 18 more than last year, so I'll take it." That's the mindset of a champion who knows how to play the long game. Still, Norris' win disrupts Red Bull's narrative of dominance. If McLaren continues to improve, this season could shape up to be a true battle rather than another Red Bull walkover. With Oscar Piastri also in the mix and Mercedes showing signs of resurgence, Verstappen might have more challengers than he expected in his quest for a fifth title. Lando Norris was in control for most of the race, but Verstappen's late charge tested his nerves. As the rain subsided and the track dried, Norris found himself struggling to maintain grip. Verstappen, sensing an opportunity, closed the gap and applied relentless pressure. The final 7 laps were a defensive masterclass from Norris, but it wasn't without frustration. At one point, Norris was seen shaking his head, displeased with Verstappen's aggressive maneuvers. After the race, Norris said, "Max is always going to push the limits, but there were a couple of moments where I felt it was on the edge." One of those moments came at turn 6, where Norris briefly lost traction. Verstappen pounced, getting DRS and closing the gap, but Norris wasn't going to let this one slip away. His ability to maintain composure under pressure was crucial in sealing the victory. For Norris, this was more than just a race win. It was a statement. He proved he could go wheel to wheel with the best and come out on top. But can he keep that same level of control throughout a full season? With more races ahead and Verstappen eager to strike back, Norris will need to stay sharp. One slip, one miscalculation, and Verstappen will be right there to pounce. His frustration could be his biggest rival this year. In post-race talk, he expressed his frustration saying, "A tough race, especially with Max behind me. I was pushing. The last 2 laps, it was a little bit stressful, I'm not going to lie."
A tough race, especially with Max behind me. I was pushing, it was, especially the last 2 laps, a little bit stressful, I'm not going to lie.
While Norris's victory was well-earned, his visible frustration during the final laps raises an interesting question. Will he be able to handle the pressure consistently? Beating Verstappen once is one thing. Doing it repeatedly over a 24-race season? That's a different challenge altogether. His passion and desire to win are part of what makes him a fan favorite. But in a title fight, emotional control is just as important as raw speed. Verstappen thrives in high-pressure situations. He's made a career out of breaking rivals mentally. If Norris lets frustration get the better of him, Verstappen will exploit it. The early signs suggest Norris is ready for a title fight. McLaren's car is competitive, and he has the skill to take the fight to Verstappen. But championships aren't just won on speed, they're won on consistency, mentality, and resilience. If Norris wants to be more than just an underdog, he'll need to prove he can handle the pressure of being a true title contender. The battle has just begun, and all eyes are on Norris to see if he can sustain this momentum. Is he the next F1 champion, or will Verstappen remind the world why he's still the favorite? In the end, Norris has shown that he can win. He only has to sustain his performance for the rest of the season. Red Bull and Verstappen won't go down without a fight, and with 23 races to go, the battle has only just begun. McLaren's aggressive upgrades could make them a real contender. But will it be enough? How do you see Norris in the upcoming race events? Let us know your take on the Australian Grand Prix 2025. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for our upcoming videos.